Should we just open up the episode with just like us just like ranting about books and then just do the intro song? Hello, welcome to American Dreamland. I'm Max Chavez.
And I'm Misty Stone.
We should have written an opening. We saw Bugonia, and we want to talk about it, because it's just, like, probably one of the most, like, pitch-perfect understandings of, like, a conspiratorial mindset, and, like, someone who, like, without the, like, aims and evils, has the cult-like thing of just, like, a weird dogma and then just, like, obsessions related to other issues.
Yeah, I really enjoyed how they captured very well the descent into conspiracy thinking and how theorists, I thought it was a really good representation of how they think.
Obviously, there's always going to be outliers, and I think especially in, like, mainstream media, like, there's the natural biases of what people have and everything. But before we get to all of that, and then we'll just spoil it, it's, for me, the anti-Eddington. I really love this movie, and
Yeah.
I did not leave angry.
Now, I always love Yorgos films, and I thought it was a great watch. He did it again. I enjoyed it, and I honestly think the more I sat with it, the more I enjoyed it.
Jesse Pinkman meme, he can't keep getting away with this.
Yeah.
My quick thoughts before we kind of just quickly cover the news and everything is this is what it shows what great American filmmaking is. And by that, I do acknowledge that it was based off of a South Korean film, directed by a Greek man who lives in London. It's clearly, like, taking it out, but this is also probably, like, the most Verhoeven-esque film I've seen in a long time. And when I say Verhoeven-esque, I don't mean, like, the style of Paul Verhoeven. I mean, like, wow, how was this weird guy from Holland able to so accurately predict trends and attitudes in 2025 America in a 1987 film about a robot? Like, it's just that outsider's perspective of, like, understanding the moment and then just saying, like, oh, I don't really have the baggage of being an American, so I can just, like, call balls and strikes. Because, not saying he's not polemic, but, like, he's not trying to be, like, as much as I love, like, Parasite and Mickey 17, like, those are films that were always going to miss something because they were trying to be, and I mean this in complimentary terms, a piece of propaganda. This is a film that may have a political bias, but, like, I just want to focus on this story, and as a result, am dropping just amazing truth bombs about, like, the fundamental nature of American life and society.
Yeah. Yeah. There were so many good and poignant conversation. And also some of the conversations, if you work in, like, corporate America at all, or even just like a blue collar, any type of job, there's so many good conversations of corporate speak that could be triggering to some people.
I know I was just squirming.
I mean, I did get to watch the lovely Roanoke, and my favorite part about Roanoke is when you go to reach for her can of food, she smacks you. She'll
So
smack your hand.
you really need to, like, pump up your self-worth, because you mentioned that, like, you texted me and mentioned that, and then you, without any prompting from me, like doing a joke or making any comment, you immediately followed it up with, and it was my fault, by the way. Like,
I just feel like I wasn't moving fast for her, you know. She's hungry. She's alone most of the day. She was probably starved for attention, starved of food.
eh,
And we know she disappeared a whole colony a couple hundred years ago. So I just
did disappear a whole colony. Or convert them to, I don't know, something.
Well, we don't know. She won't tell anyone.
She is like Betty Davis, very good at keeping secrets. I saw a friend of the show, one of our few guests, Will. He was at the wedding. It was nice to catch up with him, and just, yeah, nice. Not to be too schmaltzy or anything, but it was very genuinely nice. Not just because it was like a beautiful ceremony and everything, but like it's refreshing to just see like two people who, care about each other, making a commitment.
Yeah. I've enjoyed most of the weddings I've gone to in my adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice. I mean, the most recent wedding I went to in July, and our friends had a Sonic themed wedding.
Interesting.
And that was honestly, it was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And it was great, honestly. Instead of flowers, the flower girls threw out rings.
Okay, I do, that is adorable.
Hmm.
I do not want to slander your friends who did this, but it kind of brings up a question that I have. Is obviously like we may not actively participate, but I don't think we're anti-theme wedding in this podcast. But like,
No.
what if it's like, okay, maybe it's a little eccentric if you do a Star Trek or like a LOTOR wedding or whatever. But what if, because there's now sex freaks and nerds and stuff, like,
Hmm.
how are we feeling about like a kink themed, all of the various prefaces of that? And folks, you either get why I thought about that with a Sonic themed wedding, or just you should be happy. You're happier never knowing the answer to that question.
You know, I feel like our generation is having more and more themed weddings.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's probably had just an all-out direct kink wedding.
Look,
That's had to have been a thing.
listen, every wedding weird theme possible has probably happened in some capacity. So, like, it's happened. I guess my thought is, like, how would we feel if, like, we got invited to one?
Well, I'm always here to explore, you know? I'm here to support, and I'd go.
So
I'd stay on the sidelines
I'm not even
and just
talking about,
observe.
like, I was going to make a joke about, orgy wedding at the reception, but orgy at the reception, but yeah, no, I don't know, like the aesthetics and style. I don't know.
Hey, yeah, I don't know.
Listen, folks, if there's anyone you should take wedding advice from, it's, two people who, odds are shaky, either of us getting married, to say nothing of our relationship statuses, just who knows, and at least one child of divorce. So, like, clearly, we know what love is. Well, okay, that's a bad way to say that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, who knows? But that's what happened. I also got to see Predator Badlands this week, and wow,
Good?
what a film! I was entertained.
Okay. I mean, it's a Predator
It's
film.
it's a Predator film. I would say I was more entertained. There's a lot of bad Predator films.
I,
I think
here,
it was.
I'll defend the Predator films. There are there's really, I don't know, I haven't seen all of them, but in general, there's there's at least one amazing Predator film. Like, Predator's amazing.
Predator's amazing.
I have a fondness because it was like, I think the first R-rated movie I saw that they just let me into was Predator versus Alien, or Alien versus Predator, the original, when I was in like middle school or high school. So I have some sentimental fondness for that. I enjoyed Predators, and weirdly enough, at the wedding, when I was just getting ready at the hotel, Predator 2 was on, and I love me Danny Glover. So just, I don't know, I love...
Have you seen The Predator 2018?
I have not. How was that?
Do you know the the whole plot point is that the predators are genetically engineering themselves to be stronger, and they are after a boy with autism because they literally say, one of the characters literally goes, autism is the next stage in evolution. So the predators are basically trying to kidnap a little boy, autism, to genetically enhance themselves with autism. And this was made in 2018.
I'm leaving the silence in the edit of just me staring
and
blankly.
Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones is in it. Key from Key and Peele's in it.
Oh.
It's wacky. I think that by far is the worst Predator movie, and I was just shocked that I felt like 2018 we knew better than that.
Listen, we didn't really reach peak wokeness until I think like the woke era. Like there was Tumblr people and there was like social justice stuff, but I don't think it was like the woke era or the woke mind virus until like, you know, I don't think that became a mainstream idea until the kente cloth kneel. So who knows?
Who knows? It's a time though. It's worth a watch while you're really high. It's hilarious.
Okay.
Because they're really determined to get this autistic boy.
I have to ask, so Key from Key and Peele's there, is he like one of the like, you know, the mercenaries that like Arnold's working with and shit? Like, I know Arnold's not in it, but like the mercenary military people, is he one of those, or like just backup?
No, okay, so the main character, the dad of the autistic boy, is in the military and saw a predator and stole his technology, and so is on the run from the military because obviously they want the predator technology. He gets, if I'm remembering correctly, it was a while ago that I watched this, he gets captured, and so he gets put on a bus with a bunch of other military guys that are prisoners now because they did something fucked up. So Key is one of those prisoners he meets, and then they become like a ragtag group.
Oh my god.
So he's kind of one of the comic reliefs. Like that whole group becomes a comic relief.
Oh my god. This is really getting deep into this, but like, so I've not seen The Predator, but what I know about The Predator is it was written and directed by Shane Black, who separately, I will take this L. I was way too drunk to really appreciate The Nice Guys. I need to give it a rewatch. Only because everyone seems to love that movie, and I am a huge fan of Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling. But so I'm not a huge Shane Black fan. Parentheses. But he wrote and directed that, and what's known is his first big break, people usually associate it with Lethal Weapon, but the job that helped him get Lethal Weapon, if I'm remembering correctly, was he did punch-up work for the script for the original Predator, and was one of those Urks who gets killed by the Predator. He's also one of a handful of lead actors in that movie who did not run for governor of a state. So take for that what you will. But God, and he played the plucky comic relief, so it's so weird that he's like, I'm gonna pick a funny black guy to be my version of the character in my Predator movie. Interesting choice.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, Badlands was better, but it's very action movie. We get to see more of the Predators and their home planet, and we get to follow one.
Mm-hmm.
We have Weyland-Yutani again, which is always interesting because, like, canonically, Weyland-Yutani exists in the Predator universe, obviously, but functions very differently than it does in the Alien universe.
Yeah, I'm good with just making a third. I don't know. Like, there's just so much weird canon in the Alien movies that, like, I did really appreciate Alien Earth just going like, I don't know, fuck it. Corporations are bad in this universe, right?
Yeah.
All right. Who cares about the timeline? Here's a weird alien thing. Corporations are evil. Here's Weyland-Yutani. You know the rest. I knew it was kind of fucking with canon. I guess my only problem with it is like there's some weird inconsistency with like the journey of the journey that the ship takes is like 60 years, but like obviously like the people on the ship know way too much about how the world works when it seems like something pretty, I don't know. That was an annoying thing, but it had more to do with the internal timeline of the show rather than like, oh, but in 20 whatever Prometheus says that. Like, that's whatever, I don't care.
Yeah. But Predator Badlands also turns into a buddy comedy halfway through.
Awesome. Also, pretty whatever. Like, I'm not a big fan of it. I enjoy it if it's on. But I will say this, is the Robert Rodriguez Predator movie has Walton Goggins in it. And
yes.
So the premise of his is like, it's a predator hunting planet, and they just kidnap a bunch of like special ops or like super violent people. Like they have Mossad and like Delta Force and like the Yakuza. And one of the characters is a guy who was on death row, played by Walton Goggins. And there's just a scene where like some of the people are like meeting up and talking, and then just Walton Goggins just is like, if I get out of this, I'm gonna do a lot of cocaine. Like a lot of cocaine. And that line has been in my head for, I'm guessing, 15 years. Because now that I think about it, I've only seen that movie in theaters when it came out. But I will still very regularly just to myself go, I'm going to do a lot of cocaine. So I gotta give that to the movie. It's stuck with me.
Yeah, that one's it's definitely not bad. It's watchable. It's entertaining.
And it has a minimum of 2 Oscar wins in it.
Wow.
Yeah. Both Adrian Brody, but still.
Amazing.
That man has 2 Oscars, and he is banned from SNL because he did a Rasta improv. Oh.
So, I guess enough about Predator.
Yeah. All right.
Back to Bugonia.
Oh god, I thought by not talking about the original Predator, we'd avoid the problem where I will just not shut the fuck up about the movie Predator when it gets brought up.
Well, franchise. you gotta go see. You gotta go see Badland.
Yeah,
or Badlands.
I might. It looks fun.
It's fun. It would be a fun high watch.
Should I see the, oh god, was it called Hunter or Prey? I haven't seen that.
Prey.
Is that good?
I liked Prey. Yeah.
Very good things about it.
I liked Prey a lot. I thought it was one of the better Predator movies. Killer of Killers is also good. It's the animated anthology. I don't enjoy it follows three stories, and I don't love the character of the last story. But the first 2 anthology, I enjoyed a lot.
Speaking of 3 stories where there's definitely one that's less good than the others, but still kind of powers through and is ultimately very entertaining, we follow up on Yorgos's follow-up to Kinds of Kindness with Back to Bugonia.
Yes.
So like you said, it's amazing. I love this film. One of the better ones I've seen this year.
Oh yeah.
This is, I don't know. Maybe I'm just self-selecting good, but I feel like I'm trying to think of like a time. I guess no, I somewhat enjoyed him. What did we see before Bugonia as a group?
I think it was him.
It was him? Okay. Also,
Was it him?
shout out to We're Now. The last three movies I remember us seeing as a group was Weapons, him, and Bugonia. So we're now 3 for 3 of just dudes. I get the idea of dinner and a movie. Whew. You gotta be more discerning, because another time we were sitting near a couple that was like, what the fuck is this movie?
Yes.
I will say this one is they were clearly a couple, because they were like cuddling and being a little cutesy for all of that, but so like they were already in a relationship with some guy. It was just very funny. Like every time we're like, what super fucked up movie should we watch as a group? All right, let's walk in on yet another date.
They're always there. And I thought I feel like, especially after Poor Things, you'd think people would know Yorgos a little more. But maybe not.
I mean, I think that is the thing, is how much of this is like, I don't know, like we're film people, so like yeah, I hear Yorgos and I'm like, yeah, I know who he is. Like even if I'm not like a huge follower of his, it's like I know that like he was behind like The Lobster and stuff, even if I haven't seen The Lobster. Whereas but I do wonder if like the average American viewing public is less like, oh, it's a Yorgos film, and more like, oh, this is, no disrespect, Emma Stone's Oscar bait for this year. Like, or, oh, I haven't seen Jesse Plemons in a movie in a while. Like, it is, I don't want to like grant him, but I feel like his films that are popular and get seen, it's always because it's like, oh, these actors are in it, rather than like, yes, another Yorgos.
True. Yeah, because he has been able to get pretty big name actors in his more recent films. I think I would have to guess it was The Favorite that got more wide credit, and I would argue from as a Yorgos fan that The Favorite is his most palatable for general audiences.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen The Favorite either, which is why I'm like not really making a judgment about how I feel about his Ovor. But I do feel that like that seems like the most, we're just like, I'm just gonna make a traditional period drama with my kind of nihilistic sensibilities, rather than like, I'm going to really make it conform to my style, which isn't cool. Like it's good. He's so adaptable, but I feel like that would probably be the easiest. Like it's talking about one is clearly weaker than the others. I'm still somewhat surprised, because when we saw Kinds of Kindness, it was a somewhat crowded theater. I'm surprised no one walked out in the middle story of just like, fuck this. I don't know what is going on, and I don't care.
I feel like you have to, for Kinds of Kindness, I feel like you had to at least know a little bit about Yorgos Lanthimos, because I feel like it didn't have a huge marketing.
No.
Compared to, especially off the back of Poor Things.
I think it was entirely I don't want to say, I feel that was entirely yeah, I got some goodwill for this kind of like studio picture, albeit one where he had a lot of creative freedom, where it's like, cool, I get to just do my own thing. And then it's just like, they're just gonna let me film something for 4 months in New Orleans, which I feel Bugonia was a little bit like that too, like in the most complimentary terms possible. But yeah, no, that's yeah. That Kinds of Kindness. I enjoyed it. I recommend if you're a film bro to see it. But I honestly, the more I think about it, I still don't know if I liked it or not. I liked a lot of parts of it, and I don't think the parts I didn't like ruin the film. It's more of a general, it's hard to vibe with the whole thing, as I'm becoming just a cringe middle-aged millennial.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I feel like Poor Things, I was kind of surprised at how the reception for it, because everyone I talk to, it's Poor Things is very controversial for people.
Mm-hmm. Like,
you either love it or you couldn't finish it.
I am very fascinated. Like, I really liked it. It was, I have to double check. I feel like I wasn't, I don't know. I feel like I had feelings when Emma Stone won the Oscar, but I don't remember who she was nominated against, so it could have just been like, didn't see a lot of nominees that year. I'm cannot wait for the third one in which this happens, but that was the first of a hopeful trilogy of just Mark Ruffalo just not really understanding the assignment, but God bless him, he tried.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? Especially when it's like, oh, it's Victorian England, and he's like, I gotta do this voice, and it's like, yeah, the comedian who created Rami and Willem Dafoe are like, oh, they're just talking in their normal voice and no one cares. Like, he didn't have to do this elaborate accent.
I don't know, but it kind of, for me, I think it kind of fit with his, like, the caricature of his character of a man, like...
It did, but, like...
preying on, like... Because really, the concept of Poor Things is, or at least I think something that a lot of women or femininely presenting people growing up can relate to is the, like, sexualization that you face from a very young age. And so I thought he captured, like, especially the scene where he's, like, begging her when she goes to work as a prostitute and he's begging for her back when she's out on her balcony.
Like,
I was like,
yeah.
That has happened to so many women.
And this, like, the reason I emphasize the Mark Ruffalo part is, like, I don't have any issues with the concept of the character or any of the, like, story or narrative decisions. Like, oh, that makes perfect sense. It's just, like, his weird, over-the-top, like, which is, like,
yeah,
all right, whatever. But then kind of got, like, all I'll say is it's very weird for a man to bring, a lot of, like, nuance and empathy to the character of Bruce Banner, the Hulk. But, like, I've now seen him in, like, 2, like, films by Oscar winners that he's just like, I'm just gonna kind of go in half-cocked and just be an asshole. Because he did one of the worst Trump impressions I've ever seen in Mickey 17, which, again, I don't have any issue with the conception or the narrative role of that character. And maybe it's because I'm so used to him just playing, like, people I'm supposed to care about, or twisted villains or something, and it's just like, him as Trump in Mickey 17 was, like, so rough, especially compared to, like, the Toni Collette character, who is, like, also over the top and absurd, but also, like, I don't know, I liked her acting a lot better than his.
Yeah,
and they were kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah, I think you can argue in both Poor Things and Mickey 17, Mark Ruffalo might be the weakest performance.
Oh, for sure.
It's not like he's atrocious. It's just compared to everybody else, you can really tell.
I think it's not just because he's acting worse than everyone else. It's that, like I said, he just didn't get the assignment. Like Willem Dafoe does a bunch of, like, weird over-the-top stuff in Poor Things, but, like, it's within... I don't know how to say this. It's like, it's within like a Victorian Penny Dreadful style of like, yeah, this is over the
Yes.
top, but it's with the aesthetic style we've established. Whereas like Mark Ruffalo is like, you know, a character from a 70s British sex dramedy or whatever. And it's like, okay, like it works if that's the thing, but they're doing a different absurd thing. Let's do that absurd thing.
True. Yeah. Well, luckily in Bugonia,
We do not have Mark
we have a
Ruffalo.
pretty small cast in Bugonia. Only Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, Aidan Douglas Stavros, who many might know as he's a comedian,
Mm-hmm.
very prominent in leftist spaces, I'd say, online.
Yeah. Um, it's so, just thinking, it's so funny. Like, I know, like, not just the first Trump administration, like, COVID was this whole, like, curveball that, like, shifted society. But it is very funny to be like, you know, the Cumtown boys in the Dirtbag Left are now, like, in, like, Oscar, presumably going to be Oscar nominated films, like, and, you know, carrying his own, like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, he did not seem out of place. Like he fit in very well, which is like even more impressive considering like I think 90 to 100% of his scenes are literally just him dialoguing with Jesse Plemons, who is like I think the greatest actor of his generation. Like you can make that case. He's just so good at like
Yeah.
okay, this is my character, this is what I do.
Yeah, Jesse Plemons has been really great, and he's really good at playing
ciphers.
Yeah, I was trying to find the word, but yes, like he's so good. I think my partner even said like he's so good at these roles that sometimes I worry he could be like a bad, like we're gonna find out he has allegations or something.
I mean, I've been hearing that since he played Todd in Breaking Bad. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's just like, he's too good as a white supremacist sociopath.
Yeah, and was so good as a conspiracy theorist.
So good. I just want
Is,
to, I'm sorry, I just want to really praise Plemons for a second. Like, anytime you people are like, oh, Jesse Plemons is good at his one thing, but that's it. Fuck you, watch Fargo season 2, and you will see the range this man has. Because he has not an ounce of that type of energy of the stereotypical Jesse Plemons role. He's just the perfect Midwesterner. He's the perfect 1970s Midwesterner as a millennial dude from Texas. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, you really gotta love Jesse Plemons, and he's really done some great movies over the last few years. But back to the plot. So we're following Michelle Fuller, who's the CEO of a pharmaceutical megacorporation, and she gets abducted by conspiracy theorist Teddy Gatz, who's played by Jesse Plemons, and his intellectually disabled cousin Don.
Just
it's so good.
This could almost be like a historical picture. If the FBI wasn't involved in that Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plan, like if it wasn't an FBI op, this could be like a dramatization of if they actually pulled it off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. So Teddy believes Michelle is a member of a malignant alien species known as the Andromedans, and they're killing Earth's honeybees, destroying communities, and forcing humans into numb subservience, which is always a very common thing. I think we've gone over many conspiracy theories on this podcast that goes over the same things.
It's like it is the like the centerpiece of like, you know, the conspiratorial thinking. And, you know, a lot of like the especially right-wing movements that and I'll do my, you know, maybe this is leftist apology, but I feel like if you're very anti-authoritarian and you buy into conspiracy theories, but you are of leftist values, like it's not to say you won't do bad or extreme things, but I feel in generally you like fall into some kind of like anarchism of just like fracturing and, you know, just being against institutions. Whereas I feel the right is fascism, which is worse because it is, one, like, I have points of agreement with certain anarchists. I don't think I do with fascists. I hope I don't. But also, it's like, it's not just the evil and bad things you want to do, is you're doing it in service to a state that does those things. So, but, and again, that narrative is like, we, the good ones, are being threatened in subversive ways by this, like, great other. And, you know, it's, you know, whatever group it is, like, a good analogy to, like, remove the, like, connotations, but to show the horrors of what happens is, like, the Hutu and the Tutsi? In Rwanda, Tutsis. Like, you know, that, you know, doesn't, like, that's an instance of, like, that narrative being used, like, removed, but just changed into the context of that area.
Right.
And also, to, you know, reference Rwanda, oftentimes done for the benefit of, like, you know, Western institutionalist powers, or the legacy of Western institutionalist powers of creating others. A la European anti-Semitism is an artifact of, like, using the narrative of the evil Jewish person in European culture beforehand.
Yeah, and there's and even in American conspiracy theories, a lot of them lead to anti-Semitism to this day. Like, there's just so many anything you talk to a conspiracy theorist long enough, they're probably going to get to eventually, it's the Jews.
Listen, it took a while, and I went down some rabbit holes that explicitly would not have made it possible, but wouldn't you know it, there's a rise of people who are saying JFK got it because of his views on Israel. So, you know, that Mossad had a role in it. So, even what we thought was, like, you know, whatever you're, you know, not unproblematic, but, like, hey, we don't have racial animus in this conspiracy theory, at least amongst the actual scholars. It found a way.
Yeah. It always finds a way.
But
so
yeah.
So Teddy and Don, they imprison Michelle in their basement. They shave her head so she can't contact her ship, and they cover her in this, like, Benadryl antihistamine cream.
Yeah.
To prevent her from sending out a distress signal to her people. Teddy then tells her that she has 4 days to negotiate a meeting with the emperor of her alien species before the upcoming lunar eclipse, which will allow the mothership to enter Earth's atmosphere undetected.
And I just want to, like, this is like people who want to write about conspiracy theorists, like, Bugonia should be your starting point. And I'm not saying that there aren't, like, good or more fun examples, or even, like, potentially better movies that, like, deal with these things. But I think what gets it is it's like, this has, like, I think the easiest mindset to understand of, like, a really true blue conspiracy theorist, regardless of their specific beliefs, are sovereign citizens. Because they have all of these important things with, like, a code and system. Usually they have these, like, very important deadlines and, like, a genuine belief that you're like, if you watch those videos of, like, you know, police assaulting sovereign citizens, that it is always, it is not the thing of, like, yeah, I'm instigating a fight. Like, there's some of them, but it is just like, no, the magic words are supposed to work. What is going on? And, like, that is his thing of, it's like, no, this symbolism, this meaning, like, it's, I do know that I am gonna meet your emperor because I said the magic words. I did the thing.
Yeah. And throughout, so it's a lot of it then becomes dialogue between Teddy and Michelle, because Don, his cousin, Teddy coaches him not to talk to Michelle. So we mostly see any dialogue with Don is typically between Teddy
Mm-hmm.
And even though Don seemingly doesn't agree with everything Teddy does, and also asks him to stop because there's a pretty intense scene where he I guess not electrocutes because that implies she died, but shocks
Yeah.
Michelle for a long time. And it was done very well and is a little hard to watch. And you can tell Don asks him to stop, and he won't because he's so convinced that she's this alien.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, this test reveals to him that she's royalty.
Which is, again, like the mindset of like, okay, this thing disproved it. I have to have a reason. Like, this is, again, and I think like this is, we'll make it a little, like, I feel like we're getting a little bit repetitive and we don't just want to do a summary, but like the overall thing that I think is great is it is an honest like exploration of that mindset and telling a story of that. And I think like that is what makes a lot of like, you know, great cinema great. And I mentioned Verhoeven earlier, so I'll kind of go with him. Is it's like he understands like the nature, and he's not doing like, it's an instinct of how the elements that work together fit together. Like in Starship Troopers, it's like the reason it works so well is because, you know, dumb people think it's earnest. Here's a 90s action movie of Heinlein's novel, and then just, you know, Paul Verhoeven comes in and he's like, oh, got it. So you want to take 1950s American fascism and make it 1990s American fascism. Got it. Okay, I'll do that. No, you don't have to say anything. And it's like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And you got it perfectly right. Like how these movements like adapt and express themselves, and like how good it works in a kind of meta narrative that's like never made explicit or clear to the audience within the text itself.
Yeah, and they do such a good job in Bugonia of interweaving other aspects between, because we see like Teddy go to work and we find out he works for Michelle's company in the like packaging area, and he has a conversation with his coworker about, you know, how she had an injury on the job and that she should report it. And
oh my god.
It was just really,
this I'm curious. I don't know. Like I like creativity, and I don't think he'd be any interested in any way to do this. But like, especially given, and we'll do spoilers when we like actually go into detail about like the twist and everything. But like, I want to see Boots Riley's version of this movie where, okay, I'm actually going to organize a union and support OSHA. Then, like, hey, do OSHA. Anyway, I have to go back to the woman I have trapped in my basement.
Yeah. And they do a good job of interweaving, like, Teddy's backstory of why he is the way he is. It centers around his mother, and that she was sick, and we discover through these flashbacks that his mom participated in this clinical trial for a drug from this pharmaceutical company, and it rendered her comatose.
Well, also is, again, why, you know, literacy is important. Again, not Yorgos going like, oh, if only he had read the instructions, but like the experimental drug she is on that puts her in a coma is them trying to come up with like a cure for opioid withdrawal, because spoiler alert, and they don't really explain why, but you kind of don't need to when you look at the town she's in. It's like she got injured at work, got hugely addicted to opioids, and then was like, I'm ruining everyone's life, and I guess I'll do this because I can't get rehab or, you know, sustainable sober living with my level of insurance.
Yep. Which is great. We, you know, very prominent. I grew up in an opioid crisis area where we, like, our morgues would be overfilled from people overdosing on heroin and whatnot because we had such a big opioid epidemic in northern Ohio. So,
and I think it also is like it has to do with like again what I really liked about this film is like it is like because I think like certain people may, especially very like people who share our politics, is like it's very easy to look at this movie and be like annoyed that it's like you're so close, you're all of that. But it is also like, you know, you need the human element of like one of the reasons he has this elaborate plan is because it's like, oh, this corporation, like, especially like I don't know, like if we're to take some of the information on face value, it is basically his mom was part of a trial to help her get off of
mhm,
opioids. Trial went poorly, she was in a coma, and then basically the pharmaceutical company is like, all right, we'll take the hit and just pay for her hospice care or whatever, and like don't worry about it. And it's like it's not that you should be, oh cool, everything's good, but it is like it's even with resources, like that's one of the better things of like, yes, it sucks, but like at least she has care. It's something you don't have to explicitly worry about. And but he is right in the sense of like, oh, these evil corporations did this horrible thing that like has ruined
mhm,
my life. And it's very hard to accept like the level of apathy that goes along with it. Like, think if you, even if you didn't like publicize it or like do it for praise or whatever, like if it was selfless, like think of the impact you agreeing to pay for someone's, you know, end of life care indefinitely, like what type of commitment that takes for you and the thought process and like the moral drive. And then like this corporation is just like it makes financial sense to do this, especially if we don't have to do a lawsuit. Like let's
mhm.
do that. Like it's very hard or to be like to look at those numbers, like it's very hard to like not think that there is a reason, because it's not that we fully want to believe that we could never do things, but it's we have to have a rationale and purpose and a morality and an ethos
Mhm.
that is like really deep, like whatever you want to call it. And then to see horrors that happen due to just kind of like apathy or indifference, then like I think that's more Lovecraftian than even sometimes seeing the mechanized horrors.
Yeah. And I think just a story that many Americans unfortunately can relate to.
Yeah.
Because it's just a very dark, I like corporations really do have all the power in this country and get away fucking people over all the time.
But and I think what's like even more like so mind-numbing in America is like, you know, let's look at the Statler family. Like, yeah, they had self-preservation, but like, and you know, I will make a moral judgment that what they did was evil, but like
Hmm.
when you think about it, like it, it's hard to think of like why they like, yes, what they did was evil, but like I don't look at them as like them sitting around a table as a family like, all right, how do we do evil? It's really hard to think like, yeah, this is just a numbers thing and I don't care about the human cost. Like that's such a hard
Yeah.
idea, and then I think like you have to come up with an excuse, especially cuz like whatever, like when you think of like the historical horrors and like genocides and everything, it's like even if you think it's evil, you place an ideology and a purpose to it. And it is so hard to see modern society completely unmoored from that, even in like, you know, just yeah, like it does not work in those terms, despite the like impact something will have.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really, I think it's hard to conceptualize in general how just evil, and maybe just this evilness of they really do just care about financial success, and so they'll do anything, and they don't care about anyone
Say what you will
but
about
the numbers
Curtis
and the
LeMay.
shareholders.
Yeah, like it's just I think it's just so bureaucratic, which is like, an ultimate result of I think that's why we have so many like dead enders for capitalism who like
Hmm.
are not like, these weird libertarians. It's like even if like, and I've even seen this amongst people who I would say are probably anti-capitalist, they're just like they're softer on it than like they're more like, oh, it's failed, so we have to move on, not like what we think, which is like, no, it's like kind of inherently evil at this point. It is. I think that what's so hard is like, someone like Curtis LeMay is like, capitalism is an ideal that represents something or a mechanism for morality. So it's worse risking nuclear annihilation for that. Like, insane and evil, but like a thought process I feel some of us is more understandable than I think we care to admit. Someone working an office job and just like doing the equivalent of like a Chernobyl to like a series of Southeast Asian villages just cuz is so much harder to like comprehend.
Yeah.
Even than like random chance. Like,
Yeah. And so that's basically Teddy's main driving force. But then we also, with Stavros's character, we also learn a little bit more about Teddy's background, where we just realize how fucked his childhood was.
Let's just go into just starting off straight up spoiler territory, because like, see Bugonia if you're interested in it. Strong recommend in general. But okay, 3, 2, 1. Of course the cop is a child molester. Like,
just their first interaction is so good too, of like Stavros pulling, and I forget his character's name, but he's the cop in the show, and he pulls Teddy over while he's biking to work, and this is after he has kidnapped Michelle.
Yeah.
So we realize that he's just checking in on Teddy.
It's also just great about the setup, because how it is he's already kidnapped Michelle, but he's like, oh, we have to keep up appearances, so I'm gonna still go to work as normal. So he's biking to work, and then you just see like, a cop car drives by, and it's like, oh, that tension of like a crime movie, and then flips a Yui, woo, and you're like, oh, like you think it's like, oh, this is gonna happen, and then it's just like the most awkward, like you run into someone you went to high school with interaction.
Yes.
And I loved it.
Yeah, and at first, like in this first interaction, you don't really know why it's so awkward. Yeah. And you can tell Teddy's like uncomfortable, and you think at the moment it's because he has Michelle in his basement.
Yeah, well, also, that's plenty of reasons to be uncomfortable. If like, I am doing several major felonies and a cop has pulled me over. But what I love is it's just like, it's also the perfect type of that guy energy of like, when you see, like, sometimes you'll like see someone you kind of vaguely know, and you're like, this is just gonna, you know what, this is gonna be an awkward, just bad social interaction, and both of you kind of just feel that, and you're like, we don't need to say anything. But sometimes, like, because both people are like, but like sometimes I was like, society says I have to do something, so I'm gonna put, like, your mom's in a coma, I should say something. It's like, or you could just be a cop. Like, I don't think you'd be mad if it's like, I was doing my job, which is ostensibly very important. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, you didn't just go out of your way. Like,
yeah. And so he doesn't interact with the cop again until he shows up at his door. And this is after when Teddy thinks Michelle is one of the royalty. He gets her a dress and a wig because they shaved off her hair and makes her spaghetti and meatballs. And they have this tense conversation that ends up turning into a physical altercation. And then the cop knocks on the door. So
Great.
Michelle gets taken back down to the basement.
Wonderful, beautiful tension of filmmaking. Yeah. And then just that is, you know, one of my, it's so hard, is like, I say this a lot, and like it's sometimes hard for me when I just describe a very weird thing that like is kind of a genre, and this is the shit hits the fan and we are just irredeemably into chaos now, but we still have 1/3 to 1/2 of the movie left.
Yeah.
And we just, you just have to sit and deal with this insanity.
Yes.
Spoiler alert for Burn After Reading. This is basically like the more dour, nihilistic version of after George Clooney shoots Brad Pitt in the head in Burn After Reading. And it's like, oh shit, this is real now. There's still 40 minutes left. What's going on?
Yeah. So the cop shows up and proceeds. There's this he sees there's this cake. So Teddy didn't get to serve the cake he got, or the pie, the coconut pie he got for the end of the dinner because of the tense altercation. The cop sees it and goes, "Can I have a piece of pie?" He explains he's over there because Teddy works for the corporation that Michelle's the CEO of, and he's just like, "I just have to check." Like, he doesn't think. I think it's pretty clear that he doesn't think Teddy had anything to do with it. Then they sit on the couch while the cop's eating this piece of pie and proceeds to like awkwardly apologize to Teddy for what happened to when he babysat him when they were kids. Which is heavily implied.
Yeah.
The cop molested him. And it's this drawn out long.
It's even implied. I know they don't explicitly say it. They don't. Come on.
They don't. Yeah, you know what he's apologizing for, and he goes on. I feel like, and maybe on the first watch, maybe it feels longer than it is because it's so awkward. The awkwardness of that conversation is done so well.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's everything. This is like this is what I was saying. It's like, it's the Verhoeven thing. It's not just that it's like, oh, like, it's not like, why do we have all these social niceties, man? It's just like, oh, yeah, I'm making a film about environmentalism. Oh, it's this kind of American context. It's going to be like this. And it's like, damn, Yorgos, you didn't have to do us that hard of just like our weird, like, yeah, no, you do just kind of have to like sit and take it with like, not only like the social things, but also like he's a police officer, like, and yeah, it might be a little suspicious if like, yeah, we're looking for things in the area. Suddenly someone's not cool with talking to the police when they were before. Like, that is a little suspicious, especially when you only have so many suspects or whatever. Yeah, no, just so good of just like the level of just like nano sharp like social commentary about just total background throwaway things that were just like, oh, I just have to move the characters from point X to Z, like this is how Americans would interact. It's just so good, so cringe. Like, legitimately, it is like, I had the same feelings of like when I saw like a Verhoeven film of just like, yeah, no, you got our ass.
Yeah. No, it felt really realistic, and you definitely feel uncomfortable with them. And then they get distracted by Teddy's beat. So this whole time, he is also a beekeeper, and they get distracted, and I think the cop asks to go see, or they go walk out, and he's kind of continuing his apology. When, unfortunately, Don, his cousin, they hear a gunshot. So Don was sent to watch Michelle. She was knocked out in this physical altercation and put back down in the basement with Don to watch her with a shotgun. the cop hears the gunshot.
Oh yeah, we should
And so,
explain just, which again is also just like, yeah, I cannot deal with this like psychosis anymore. I just need to peace out. Like
yeah,
that
Don
kind of
and
passive nihilism, which is just like very common amongst the youths.
yeah, and Aiden Delbus, I think this is his first film.
Mm-hmm.
He does such a good job capturing Don, and I believe he does have autism.
Okay, well,
It,
I'll like okay. It's not just that. Like it is very much
mhm.
like he really embodies a character who like happens to have. They never say, but it is like
Yeah,
there
they don't say.
there is so much of just like you know amazing acting, like of him just like
Yeah,
it's not
he
just
is
like
a
I have to do this. It is like this is what this character would do, and I will now effectively embody that.
yeah, no, and he does a really good job of capturing, like, you can tell because Teddy is kind of in a caretaker role for Don and wants to protect Don at all costs, and you get this sense that from when since they were kids, he's always been Don's protector. And but he also tries to control what Don does and thinks.
Yeah.
I feel there's like this tension between them where Teddy feels like he knows what's best for Don, so doesn't really give Don room.
I feel like it is that, like, I don't want to say like parental tension because I feel like
Hmm.
there's a certain thing about, like, a commitment you make to, as a parent, to like whatever the stress, like you are the caretaker and like you're starting from that position. But there is tension and stress that comes along with that. And I think that it is very good of like when you have that kind of parental responsibility or relationship amongst, not a parent and child, of like, mentor, like, older cousin who's the last person to take care of younger cousin, or, children caring for parent. Like, I definitely see this with like, a little bit of like my parents, of just like them having to deal with their parents and like the stress that causes between them and their siblings, like that either inverse or like non-traditional role. And like it is a thing of, it's like, you know parents can do bad, but
Hmm.
there's an implicit understanding of what this should be, of,
Yeah,
you know if they're like, if a parent's intentions are good, I don't think we would be, if it was a reasonable demand and their intentions are good, I don't think anyone's like upset if a parent like restricts a child from doing something, or is explicit about saying I disagree with you doing this, when it comes to like, not identity issues or whatever. Whereas like as soon as it's someone else doing that, even if they have that responsibility or that kind of relationship, it becomes like a lot more difficult to comprehend and deal with.
yeah, and it's the constant, like, Teddy. I think we see Teddy being really good at encouraging Don, and like when Don has negative self-talk about himself, he's really good at telling him not to think about, like, being really supportive and like a good like older brother role. But what he's not good, like, once they have Michelle, I think you can see how he just starts ignoring Don in a way, or I would imagine Don, he sees Teddy losing himself in the plot and he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
listen to Don.
Yeah.
And so how this culminates is, unfortunately, the gunshot is Don. Michelle wakes up, they talk, and Michelle is trying to basically plot her escape with Don, trying to
Mm-hmm.
convince him to let her go, let her out. Um, but then Don replies that, like, really all he wants is to go to a space with Michelle.
Yeah, because he wants an escape, and when
Yeah,
that's not gonna happen because what? She's just a rich lady? Yeah.
yeah. So after that, he
Actually,
promises,
wait, we're in
she
spoiler
makes a prom.
territories.
Yes, well,
Let's. This is something I have not thought about. Like, why is she not willing to take? Like, I don't know. At least tell him she's willing to do that. Emma Stone's an alien. Like, I have a lot of
yeah,
not great thoughts about
yeah,
that, but whatever.
yeah. She ends up being the emperor.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't you know it? Jesse Plemons isn't a well. Okay, God, I really did. Okay, it's a still wonderful ride. Not taking it away from the movie, but I really didn't like the ending, and I feel like it's. I will say this is like thinking back about like, wait, she's an alien. Why didn't she do this then? It doesn't take away the moment of the scene, and I don't think it's gonna be like if when I rewatch it, I'm gonna be like, oh, this ruins this. But it is like it's. I take the points out of the ending, like that makes the ending worse, not that scene. Like that's still super powerful and everything.
Yeah, and I think she's still doing everything she can to not reveal that she is actually an alien and Teddy's actually right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, because
But
also like the film is very good at like I don't know how to do this, and like if I did, I'd probably be a renowned filmmaker. But it's like it does a great way of like showing like it does everything it needs to, so you are able to fully intellectually understand. No, whatever his concerns or whatever, Teddy is fundamentally in the like we are pro eating the rich, and
yeah,
Luigi allegedly is still like, no, you don't just kidnap people, like kind of
right.
thing. Even when you can so deeply empathize and understand him, like that is real art. I think all of these moments are earned. None of them feel cheap. They are able to perfectly serve what they do and have like the right amount of gravity. Like even I will say this is like God, like I don't want to be just like, oh, he understands the vibes, but it's like the way in which the whole like, yeah, I was the babysitter who molested you bit went is partially because of like the writing, partially of like casting a stand up, and all of that is treated as a joke in the whole like edgy humor kind of way. It is like taken to a logical conclusion and treated and approached by the characters with like the seriousness of all of that,
Hmm.
which is like, yeah, it's like that's a way of saying like everything for the most part, other than what I dislike about the film, everything is earned. Like there's no
Yeah.
cheap shots. There is an explanation, and even like a lot of the like flights of fancy are like really good at like helping move the story along and serve a purpose beyond just like that dream sequence with his mom. Is it's like, oh, like shocker, he might have an unhealthy relationship with women, partially because of a troubled relationship with his mother. And yet it's still like, even though it is like clearly showing his like self-perpetuating fantasy and everything, like it is also done in a way of like, yeah, like you're doing something with this, you are like establishing a great way of this like push and pull of like, you really screwed up my life, mom, but also you're my mom, so I can't
Hmm.
help but love you. And how do I make how do I square this circle? Like it's, yeah, just
Yeah.
oh, and then just like the whole, oh, I love how cringy and like just Emma. Okay, I I'm not a feminist time. Emma Stone, my God, just so good and just
So good.
oh, always bringing it, just amazing. Like just because, you know, she doesn't go like full on like, oh, I'm in a very serious situation where like death is a legitimate element now. It is like she does it and handles it in the way of it's like that, like, you know, Sheryl Sandberg type person of like, oh yes, I'm going to, you know, be passive aggressive and do the subtle thing and blah blah. But like it's like, no, I do this not as a tactic. I do this because it's how society lets me just deal with my bloodlust. Um, and when I can indulge in it, by God, I'm going to. Of just how she just, like, understandably just like fucks with Teddy to like try and get out of the situation.
Yes. And she's so good. And she's so good at capturing that, like, again, that like corporate speak.
Yeah.
Or just like her reactions are so great when so Teddy, this is led by Teddy. So Teddy and Dawn chemically castrate themselves so that she cannot seduce them.
So it's less about that, I think, and more of just like the whole
clearing their mind.
Clear, and again, that goes into like a lot of the like. I feel like there is, you know, a thing of like false discipline of like, if I'm able to do this whatever thing, it shows I have commitment and will do something. Like, you know, this is just a version of, if I only eat meat, like, I'm becoming a primal warrior. And also like it shows a degree of discipline because I'm able to just eat one thing and never deviate.
And you see in those, and then like, or the men who, you know, stop masturbating. They often talk about, or like, oh, you know what, the semen retention guys, they're great. They talk about how their minds are clearer because they're retaining their semen. And you can go down fun rabbit holes with the no masturbating semen retention people. That is something.
Oh, I don't know if this is
a way to live your life. But the conversation when Teddy reveals to her, like, and we've chemically castrated ourselves, just her reaction to just going, oh, Jesus Christ. Hilarious.
Yeah.
And her trying to, like, her first trying to, like, use her, like, corporate speak and her being a CEO as a way to manipulate Teddy into freeing her, and then to going, like, you're mentally ill. You need help. And none of it working because Teddy has his eye on the prize. He is not wavering in his belief system. But unfortunately, back to Dawn, you can see Dawn wavering.
Because it's like...
Because it's, my cousin's crazy.
Well, it's also like, and again, it goes into this, like, it has to do something, is like, you know, whatever, I don't know, just like, I don't know why I'm trying to be like all fair and everything, but it's like, people who die for a cause, like, it's them not only seeing, like, beyond themselves, it's like, they either, okay, like, I believe this is, like, they have a belief that what they're doing is genuinely good. So it is either like, my death will help contribute to this, or why do I want to live in a world that will never meet this ideal? Whereas, like, Dawn is absolutely like, okay, I see what you've described. Why am I doing this? Like, I don't have that conviction. He doesn't have that dog in him. Right. And, like, and then it's just like, I can't, I gotta just nope out. Like,
he unfortunately commits suicide in front of Michelle.
Yeah.
And when Teddy runs back in, he's convinced that Michelle killed Don, or convinced Don to kill himself. And during their conversation, Michelle convinces Teddy that there's this bottle of antifreeze in her car.
Yes.
That secretly, she starts pretending. At this point, you think she's pretending to actually be the alien that Teddy thinks she is. And that the antifreeze in her car is actually a secret antidote that will cure his mom and wake her up.
Yeah.
So, and this causes Teddy to just like rush off to the hospital with the antifreeze. And meanwhile, Michelle is, she gets herself free. At first, you're like, why doesn't she just go escape? Why is she? And then we see later that
It was locked.
that it was
That
locked.
was a nitpick I had. I was like, bitch, why are you
Yeah.
still in? It's like, okay, it's locked. Fine, you're looking for another way out. Like, that was just a weird, like, I'm not so petty. I'm gonna, uh, be like, oh, this one camera shot wasn't perfect because I couldn't see the locks. Like, no, it's fine. And, like, I also, like, forgot about it, like, 30 seconds after because of everything else going on in the film.
Yeah. And then she discovers another room in the basement that's just filled with body parts and
Yeah,
like all
Teddy's
these
a serial
notes.
killer.
Yeah. Teddy is a serial killer. And there's all these body parts in jars / notes and drawings of
Yeah.
the Andromedans and their ships, his like rendering of their ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, spoiler alert, the antifreeze is just antifreeze, so he ends up just killing his mom.
Okay, listen. You know, especially now that we're in spoiler territories, like people have seen it. It's like amazing film. The normal parts are good. It's like, yeah, of course the antifreeze is gonna that is the tension of, you know, this horrible thing is going to happen, and you know she said that because it's like, yeah, of course the cops are gonna arrest him, or of course the security guard's gonna do something like that's going to kind of start this chain reaction. Like, kind of a brilliant plan. I will talk about, and I will say, like, I was in it in the moment, thinking about it, and especially knowing the ending. Like, how did you feel about the whole Teddy's actually a serial killer part?
Part of
I
me feels like it wasn't really needed
Yeah,
in that it makes his character less empathetic. Like, ultimately, like you said, they're good at rounding Teddy out in that, like, you understand his descent into madness.
right. And I think
And
that,
I think you can understand that without him being like like him being just a like serial killer takes away from that a little bit.
so yeah, I feel that um I, okay. I was actually like, again, because I was like, okay, this is good. Like, we're not doing. I think it was like, I don't know how you draw that line or where it is, but it was a great line of like, yes, this is a person who deserves our empathy and has been dealt a bad hand, but also is cognizant enough to be responsible for their own choices. And
Mm-hmm.
I I was like, okay, like, this is perhaps a bit extreme, but a logical ramping up of like, what do we do now? Like, where are the things we're at? Like, it is a certain thing of like, it really does help escalate the stakes if it's like, not only, oh, this thing has happened and like, Teddy's unhinged because his cousin's dead, but also like, we know he has this in him.
Yeah.
We know the lines he is able to do, which I think is a like very brilliant way to like ratchet up the tension. What I very much dislike is, since we find out he's right with his bullshit conspiracy theories, and in fact, some of his victims actually are
Were
Andromeda,
aliens.
presumably
Mm-hmm.
like Andromeda. Like, I feel that lessens it a lot. Like, it's, I don't like, and this goes with my general problem about the ending of it's like, I don't mind like weird and fantastical like things that are just kind of like pop out of nowhere. Um like I as much as I didn't like the second story in Kinds of Kindness, I had no problem with like the kind of unexplained kind of magical realism-ish parts of like the last story. Like, Okay, you can have weird, absurd things. I'm not opposed to this. I think I'm just opposed because of the story that was being told and like the like where it all went. I'm kind of like, eh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's. I think her
It's
being an alien, her actually like doing some of the like truth, but messaging it like apparently they were doing experiments and stuff to like try and help
yeah,
people.
and because she says when Teddy comes back from killing his mom, she says, and I think maybe she said it with the anti, like it's implied that his mom was an experiment. Like these were all people that they were experimenting on,
Yeah.
and they were waiting for her to change. And if the change was success, my understanding, I correct me if I'm wrong, Max, but my understanding was with this change, they would wake up.
I don't know. I felt they went way too into. There was too much truth within the lies and stuff where I just like began to like, why are they getting involved? Like, were they right about the whole Atlantean thing? It just like I don't know. It just kind of got it. It got too up its own. Like I don't know, trying to tie everything together, which was it was that I think we spent a little. I think it's also not that it wasn't necessarily earned, but there's a lot of like self-indulgence in the ending, not just of like it's not just that we find out she's an alien, it's like how much time we
Mhm.
spend like now the aliens will give the moral lesson, and then when they decide to just like kill off all of humanity just like way too many like I think what I said after we got it is like okay, I got what you were saying with one shot of like a Korean factory. You didn't also have to show like a different Chinese agricultural factory and then like an Indian sweatshop. Like you could have just done a couple things. You only had to do one group of people on vacation. You didn't need to show family vacation, rich singles vacation.
Couple vacation.
Like, it's just like, okay, you could have a variety of shots, but like, you just need like one per thing or like keep it thematically consistent of like, these are all the same type of thing. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I still waffle over the ending
And that's
in the
also why
sense
it's
that,
like Boots Riley, like, if Boots Riley did it, because like, that I still remember the first time I saw Sorry to Bother You, and it's just like, oh yeah, horse people. What? Like, and this is already a film that like has a degree of like absurdity and like buy-in. You have to get to that point, and it's like, all right, I think I understand the world we're in. Horse people through the cocaine? What? And, um, uh, so like yeah, like it felt like that, but it's like because it was like this like very dour traditional kind of like psychological thriller that then jumps and then it's like okay, like on the concept I don't have an idea of like oh actually she was an alien and then because of what was done the aliens are like maybe we shouldn't help Earth. Like okay, like I'm open to that. I just didn't like the actual execution.
yeah, because I think we're supposed to criticize the aliens as well in this, in that, they're touting knowing better, but also like clearly they're torturing and leading humans and are the cause to why, partially the cause to why humans are struggling so much.
Yeah.
And so I feel there is this critique to the aliens and their decision to, and we see Emma Stone hesitate before she pops the bubble over this flat Earth that is what ends up killing everybody. But yeah, I wish, I don't know.
Honestly,
That was,
this is the only time I will say something in a Yorgos film should ever copy from Smiling Friends. They should have just like, when we're doing this, just gone super absurd and start throwing in conspiracy theories that like even Teddy thought was crazy. Like there's that
mhm.
episode of Smiling Friends where it's like, oh my god, the Earth is flat. It's like we can never tell anyone. We must keep this
Yeah,
secret. Like just like, oh yeah, why not? It's a flat Earth. Who cares? Like we've
yeah,
already like crossed this Rubicon. Like let's just have fun with it.
yeah. And yeah, I keep going back and forth. Part of me, it just gets into the absurdist, like kind of nihilistic sense of Yorgos Lanthimos
Which I'm
films.
not always against. Like I have a kind
No.
of I do have a kind of core aversion to it
Hmm.
of just general nihilism. Like not to say like it's always a deal breaker or not good. It is just like it is just kind of like, well, why? Like
Yeah.
and you know, sometimes it's fitting. Sometimes, you know, especially if you're doing it stylistically, it's whatever. And again, I I did not mind at all the nihilism of Poor Things or Kinds of Kindness. Like I thought that was fitting and it was thematically interesting, especially if you're just kind of doing, you know, what I think he does a lot, which is just kind of human studies and human dramas. Like if you're not trying to like tell a narrative to a point, yeah, a lot of human life can seem very nihilistic, so it's fitting. Um, but yeah, I think it was just a step too far with how it was done.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially because, you know, one of the reasons we are the where we are in this country is nihilism. A lot.
I mean, yeah, I think
Yeah.
that it's, you know, I think the thing of why it's a problem is it's like it it's nihilism from those in power. I feel that
Yeah.
um I feel it's actually, I think if you know, I don't know what this cheat code is. Again, I'd be in a very different position if I did. I think that it's easy to just assume, like 1984 style, like the American population is like the proles, and it's just like the wasted thing, and it's all for like the middle and upper classes to fix things. I I think it's I think it's easy to motivate the American people for something. You just have to get them to believe in it. Because, like, you know, we're not like, it's not just that, like, I think there's something to, like, the media makes us dumber or is a psyop type of thing. Like, you know, it it's not an evil thing to like sap away our souls or morality or whatever. I think it is a team sports thing to distract us. I think it's a type of like, you know, bread and circus that has us care about those things rather than like class consciousness or whatever. And then those that are
Yeah.
downwardly mobile, it's like, you know, Graham Plattner is probably a good example of like it's easy to do the like, you know, evil fucked up things for all of that, but like he was still motivated to do bad things before he like, you know, became more progressive. So he was motivated, and like I think it's just we have misplaced priorities rather than like we can't
Hmm.
organize and do things. Like we can do a lot of dumb shit that requires a lot of like effort and planning. I'm sorry, January 6th was not something that was easy to pull off.
Oh,
um,
yeah.
so, like, you know, it's just where are those priorities? And I, I feel that like that's why I'm like I don't know. I don't feel we're nihilistic at our core.
Mm-mm.
And it's just like, we're just, the nihilists are very good at pointing to distractions or things.
Yeah.
And, you know, because again, I think like there is a lot of like apathy and stuff, but like it's not that people aren't doing things. It's just like people are doing the wrong things. Like, you know, I don't think there was a lot of, you know, slavery is a great example. People were not apathetic about it. They were just shaped to have views, to make it so that they supported this institution. Whereas, like, plenty of racist people in the North were, like, vehemently against slavery, not because they believed in the concept of equal rights, but because their class interest and, like, their livelihoods was at stake. How do you compete with free labor? So they did not want a system that allowed that. And that's not to excuse their attitudes, but it is like, no, we were motivated to do things and driven, just like through what we were given to do. And I think America can very easily have the class socialist revolution if you actually point people the right way and get them to care about it. But I don't know how to do that.
And they don't get, and we don't get lost in the otherism or conspiracy theories if we keep focus on the actual enemy and we're not making up like aliens or
it's like
saying
that
it's trans people or Jewish people.
It all comes down to, you know, I don't want to make a lot of definitive statements about human nature. It's good to have that driving force, but like it's also very hard to like not just take a shot at that thing of like, yeah, let's get through it. Like, yeah.
So what would you rate Bugonia out of 10?
Out of 10? At least an 8. As much as I dislike the ending, I feel it was... I'm not surprised the ending went the way that it did, especially when we had the reveal. I would have wished it... We kind of spitballed in our group that it's like... We thought it would have been fun if she, like, had to run back to the suicide bombing because of, you know, oh, I have to destroy the evidence of, like, the horrific insider trading, or, like, oh, here's all the evidence of how we purposely created an opioid epidemic so we could sell a cure. Like, I think that would have been a good way to show, like, oh, no, she was evil and, you know, maybe is not this, like, you know, not just, oh, she's rough around the edges and not a perfect victim, but someone who has done, like, genuine, intentional, and legitimate harm. But, you know, I wasn't surprised when he did it.
No, I wasn't that surprised. It's very Yorgos, but I thought she was originally, I was like, she's not an alien, really, is she? And I thought she was running back to, like, to get corporate secrets, because I don't think we mentioned it, but Teddy, like, he convinces her to take him to her spaceship, so then she has to go, they go back to the office, and in her office he's wearing a bomb, a homemade bomb, and it accidentally goes off before he's sent up into the ship, and his decapitated head knocks her out, so she gets knocked out and wakes up in an ambulance and, like, just gets up and starts running back to the office.
So I will say this, and I think I mentioned this, I will say that was a really good scene, but it was not the funniest scene in a movie this year. I am hard-pressed to think of a moment I will laugh harder at this year than the ending of Weapons. But I do think Bugonia low-key may have been the funniest movie of this year. And that is, like I said, not an attack on a comedy I may have seen in theaters. It is just like, I do think people are really underselling, or I'm just so fucked in the head that, like, I thought this movie was hilarious most of the time.
Oh yeah, I thought it's so good. Like, the Jesse Plemons, all the actors, it's not a huge cast, but they're all so good. Adrian, Jesse, Emma, Stavros, all do an amazing job.
Just
the dialogue between the dialogue between Jesse Plemons and Emma Stone, hilarious, amazing. Emma Stone's corporate speak. If you've ever worked for, in corporate anywhere really, you just know.
At the risk of doxing myself, if you have ever had to do the, I don't know if it's, I think it's just state government training of like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna steal your popcorn. That's sexual harassment. Fucking video. Like, it is she plays the person who's like, this will accomplish our legal requirements. Like, that vibe
Yeah,
perfectly.
yeah,
Um,
like so good. But I too would give it an 8 out of 10. Also, Max, did we know that Ari Aster was one of the producers of this film?
we did not. I'll pretend I didn't know that. Still, yeah.
This is a fun fact after Eddington.
God, don't bring that evil onto me.
Is Eddington the worst movie of the year?
Ooh. Uh, Spiritually, it's probably going to be the worst 2025 film I see this year. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Like if you're willing to pay or other
Yeah.
means. What?
And then
So yeah, what is the worst film versus the best film so far of the year? Because
I
Hollywood
think of the
sucks,
ones
but I feel like
I
this has been a
saw,
really good year for movies.
it has been a really good year. Yeah, in retrospect, I have had a lot of fun in the theaters this year.
I think Weapons actually might be my favorite film of the year so far.
Yeah, Weapons was really fun. Weapons is really fun. I did like Bugonia a lot. I'm trying to think.
Now that I
God, there's
say
so
that,
many.
I did really love. I really love Bugonia, and I know you have the same score as Weapons. Begonia is not my favorite film of the year. Even if it had an ending I liked, I still think I liked One Battle After Another. But Weapons or One Battle After Another is probably my favorite movie of the year so far. In terms of what I've seen in theaters, I think Him might be the worst film I've seen.
Him was, yeah, I forgot about it.
I
I
mean,
just wanted it. It disappointed me because I wanted it to be good. I wanted it, and it was there. Like there's the first half had potential,
it wasn't
and so
atrocious. It just
no,
it's just the
it
worst
wasn't like,
thing I've seen in theaters this year, like relatively.
yeah, worse than Eddington.
Oh fuck, I
Yeah,
forgot about Eddington. No, yeah, Eddington is the worst film I've seen this year, 100%.
Eddington honestly was more painful of a watch. I had more fun. Like if I was just going off vibes, I had more fun in him than I
Yeah.
did in
Oh,
the last half
100%.
of Eddington.
Oh my god, I cannot believe how much you can tell just the sheer hatred I have for that because I am purposely like blacking it out of my head because we literally were just talking about how much I hated Eddington, and then I was like, I don't know, I guess this, like, completely forgetting I've seen that film. Yeah, no, Eddington is probably the worst thing I've
Yeah,
seen
because I
this year,
think
dear God.
at worst, him is forgettable,
Yeah.
but Eddington can just like
Yeah, Eddington's not
it
forgettable.
just
I just have a very specific form of brain damage that said that this was the healthy option for me.
I just like yeah, we talked about it in our Eddington episode. It was something.
Yep.
Ari Aster, you disappointed me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say I was definitely more frustrated with Eddington, and it went on longer than it needed to. Him, I was like, this is goofy. I had fun at least.
I think it was. I have to check the time, but it felt like it was a tight, like 98 minutes, which is like chef's kiss.
Yeah. So I guess we'll end with that.
We're American Dreamland. I'm Max Chavez.
I'm Misty Stone.